Hi, Eddie. It's good to see you here at the Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce, kind of working through what continues to just be a historical moment for the world and obviously for our own hometown, Tallahassee. Really appreciate you taking time out as a CEO of a local company. We've had the chance to work on many different fronts. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your support of the Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce. But we really want to take an opportunity for our community to know about you, the important work your company is doing, and then obviously as in this coronavirus space, information is key. So if you don't mind, if you could introduce yourself, about yourself, the company, just briefly, and we'll kind of get into some questions.
Well, I appreciate you and everything that the Chamber's doing. The information that you're sharing through your newsletter. I've actually received phone calls from Chamber members asking how things are going. So I definitely appreciate that. I think the community does as well, as you alluded to, through these unprecedented times. So I'm the CEO of Ruvos. We celebrated 15 years last year, so we're on our 16th year. Founded in Tallahassee, still in Tallahassee, and have been doing healthcare technology now for 15, 16 years. And as I mentioned to a friend of mine, this is our Super Bowl. We've been working our tails off, whether it's recruiting talented people or working with both the state governments, federal governments, municipalities, and setting up the infrastructure for something like this. So our team is working overtime. Our team is making sure that data is flowing from many organizations around the United States. So we're working extremely hard, but the passion, for example, yesterday we had an all hands on deck meeting, and the passion is unbelievable. Yeah. You always wonder, and I know people that are watching this, you always wonder, how is it going to work when you're working remotely? I have to tell you, productivity's gone up. So busy times, excited, and look forward to our chat.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, I think we're hearing the same thing. So what we've tried to do here at the Chambers, our team is remarkable. We are a small business. We're 14 members. We're working remote as well. Some of us are in the office home base, but the rest of our team is out there. And you really do. You learn a lot, and you know that we'll all be stronger for this afterwards, but there is some pain going on right now. So we will move into it. This is so unique because you are in the epicenter of what is hitting everyone globally. And I think what we want to make sure is we understand is, and really our business community, the work that you're doing in that COVID space that you can speak about, again, because a lot of this is some important information, but maybe if you can at least share what that world looks like from your vantage point as we sit here on April 1st, knowing that at some point we will be on the other side of this and we will go back, and this will be really a historical moment that we can actually go back and take a look back in history and time. So maybe anything you want to share from that vantage point.
So I will tell you and the listeners, there are public health officials, public health laboratorians, epidemiologists, folks at hospitals like our TMH and Capital Regional that are working day and night. I mean, I have never seen anything like this. I always knew they were dedicated to the cause. I always knew they were there to go the extra mile. But what I have seen is unprecedented for unprecedented times. And often you hear the media and you get a little disappointed in what you hear. But I will tell you, public health and private sector healthcare is going full throttle. The sacrifices that people are making, I see it firsthand. Now, from our perspective, we move data, we store data, we secure data for different both state organizations, private sector hospitals, and also the federal government and some major nonprofits. For example, like the Association of Public Health Laboratories is one of our partners, and they represent all the public health laboratories throughout the U.S. So, for example, the Public Health Laboratory for Florida has a location in Jacksonville, in Tampa, and in Miami. After the CDC did their testing, they were the next ones to test. And I tell you, in speaking to some of the folks at the public health laboratories, they still haven't slept. They are testing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of orders and doing everything they can. So our relationship with them is to make sure that that data is flowing. to make sure that that data is flowing to the folks that have to make informed decisions. Someone asked me, so you're heavily involved in the response. I said, we're doing also our little small part to contribute, but what I think is going to be just as important, Sue, is the recovery as well. You mentioned on the other side of this. I believe some of the work that we're doing in other businesses around the nation, really around the world, in terms of sharing data and making data available to leadership, is how are we going to recover, right? So some of that data is not only about today, but it's in May, June. How are we going to start up the economy? It's not going to be, in my opinion, binary. It's not going to be an on and an off switch. But making sure that the data, which we trust, is in front of the leadership so they can make those decisions and open up our economy and our state little by little. So that's some of what we do. We're not necessarily epidemiologists or data folks or data scientists, but we make sure that those real smart people that are working day and night have that data to make those decisions.
Right. Well, and information is key, right? Without information, you talked about your great team, and we know with every great company, it really comes down to the team members. So thank you to you, but also most importantly, your team members that are working hard. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I think you've also said that obviously you've been looking at your team. There's a little bit of a demand to try and find additional positions and or types of support. I know you're in the customer support help desk or the DevOps. You've mentioned transferable skills. Talk to me, if you can, about and then the opportunities that are out there for what you are going to be needing moving forward.
Absolutely. So we have a team of roughly between 50 and 60 strong. Most of them are here in Tallahassee in our headquarters, but we do have folks across the U.S. Naturally, in a situation like this, there's an extreme sense of urgency to get things done. And we've had the opportunity to be approached by roughly 10 organizations that either they had a startup, or they have potential investor money, or they have an idea from manufacturing that they think will translate to healthcare. So we've been approached, and we're very grateful and lucky to work with some potential new businesses, new projects. Some government officials have come to us for advisement and for help. And naturally, no one likes to say no to business, but in particular with this situation, we feel there's a responsibility.
Right.
We feel like, we have to figure this thing out. And in order to do that, we have to also understand that our current team members are extremely busy. Many of them are working from home and also teaching their children, right? And doing shifts with their spouses and their partners. So there's a lot of things going on. So we have to respect that and support our team members. That being said, we're in a position where we are scaling up. So we are looking for customer support in a situation like this, even in technology and healthcare, is almost as important as the folks that are doing the technology, because there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of communication, there's a lot of back and forth. So we're beefing up the customer support area. We do a lot with cloud computing, with very high-tech tools and services from the cloud. So what we call DevOps is an area that we're trying to also expand. Cybersecurity is an area, as you and I have talked about in the past, that we're always looking for talented folks. Yeah. But then again, also project management. What we don't want to do as a small business is be very, top heavy from a technology perspective. We need good leaders, good communicators. One of the interesting things about this situation is that, you know me, I'm kind of old school. I like folks here in Tallahassee so we can whiteboard and do these things. Well, you know what? We don't have that option anymore. So as we're recruiting folks, we are, obviously we have the availability of doing remote work, but one of our goals is, after the COVID situation passes, we'd love for them to come to Tallahassee. So we're also working to share our thoughts on Tallahassee, educate them on how it's great to, raise a family here. So we're doing that as well. And by the way, I don't think the hiring is going to stop in 2 or 3 months. I think it's only going to increase. I believe that the funds that public health needed for many years is going to trickle down, and you're going to see a shift. It was already a very hot industry, but it's going to be the hottest industry on the planet, and we're going to need folks to be able to prepare us, unfortunately, for the next thing, okay? So we're trying to position our company. We're very lucky. We've been working with some local organizations like the Chamber, like the Florida Tech Council, to share our job descriptions to see if there are folks, for example, that are in manufacturing but no cloud computing that can help us. There may be someone who is doing customer support in banking that may not have a job now, but that they have transferable skills. And for us, that's wonderful. And also that creates a diversification in our culture, which I think ultimately long-term it helps us and our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Eduardo, two things before we try and wrap, trying to be sensitive to your time. You know, as a chamber, we've talked about this. We have three strategic priority areas: growing our businesses, advocating, and one that has really surfaced to the top of the calendar workforce. And so in that space, we're pushing out, actually launching as we speak this week, JobsNow. And JobsNow, meaning we want to make sure that through this, as you said, this response and recovery time, that we're trying to help people find the jobs that are available, who have potentially lost their positions. And so we're going to roll that out. We will promote your company and what you're looking for. So that'll be there as well. But any way that you want people to access that information, is there a good outlet that you want to make sure you let everybody know at this point as well, but know that we'll link it through on our information as well?
Absolutely. And I think that's going to be a tremendous help. Naturally, we use the typical LinkedIn and social media to promote. And honestly, organizations like yours and friends that in the community, I have to say, and I think your platform is going to be marvelous. I think it's going to be a huge help. But I do want to add that, you know, we have a very strong tech community in town, and it's really coming together. I'm spending more and more time with some of my friends that I usually just, you know, may go have a beer with or go chat with or go to the gym with. Now we're talking about how can we help? So the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well, which is great. And a platform like JobsNow, for example, would be a great place to, you know, connect some of those needs and wants.
Yeah. You know, Eduardo, you're a terrific CEO. Maybe this is a helpful hint. When you pull your team together tomorrow, what's some of the messaging that, I know you're already thinking about this because you won't rest tonight. You're nonstop. Just for an inspirational moment, because that's what I'm finding is CEOs are coming together and we're feeding off of each other. So in closing, what's the message that you'll give your team tomorrow that I know any other CEO would love to hear and probably be inspired by?
So, you know, for 14, 15 years, we've always told our team members that we are making a difference and that we are saving lives. But when you're coding, when you're creating a web portal, sometimes it's hard to have that connection. Thankfully, we're involved in some projects that are literally saving lives and projects that are allowing folks to make really, really important and serious decisions. So we always start off our meetings, for example, to make sure everyone's okay. Because if stuff's not at home is not okay, if folks' health is not okay, then you know what? All this work stuff doesn't matter. We always start off our calls that way. We also always share a story. What did we do over the last 24 hours that made a difference? And let me tell you, our calls are all hands on deck calls are like 15 minutes. They usually last 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Passion there is very exciting. Are we tired? Absolutely. But just like the folks at the hospitals, at the doctor's offices, at the public health agencies, we're not going to stop.
Right.
We're not going to stop.
But Eduardo, thanks so much for what you're doing. It matters. Please tell your team tomorrow. The Chamber of Commerce appreciates them. And if you do anything, let us know. But thanks to you. God bless. Be safe. See you soon.
Thank you, Sue. Thanks to you and your team. Thank you.